bloodiest fight in mixed martial arts history a little over a year ago. What did you take away from that battle and kind of the attention you received after such a crazy fight with Nicholas Dalby?
I think I took away the fact I need to work on my defense a bit. I'm good dishing it out, but maybe I take a bit too much sometimes. So the layoff I've had since that fight, we worked a lot on my defensive skills, not getting hit as much, being a bit more evasive. But yeah, we got a good. It was kind of like, it was a weird one because it was kind of like bittersweet. Obviously, none of us got the win, but obviously it brought a lot of attention to both our names because of just the sheer amount of blood, to be honest. But it was a good experience, you know. It's I think, you know, I've had fights where I finish people fast, and I've had fights where, you know, I show up and go to deep waters, and like if shit hits the fan, then I'm ready to go.
Coming out of that fight, you know, a lot of options for you, undefeated, you know, Cage Warriors champion, all those great things. What made you want to ultimately sign with Bellator? What was it about Bellator that you said, this is where I want to fight now?
You know what? I'm always looking to fight the top guys, and I feel like the Bellator welterweight division in particular, it's got some of the very top welterweights on the whole planet. You know what I mean? And I know I can beat any one of them. So I thought, you know, this is the spot for me to show that I'm not only the best welterweight in Europe, I'm up there with the best welterweights on the planet as well. So after I beat MVP Saturday night, we'll move on to world title number 2.
Going into this fight, you know, Michael Venom Page has obviously done a lot of great things, but the biggest discussion or debate about him is hype versus reality. Is he a great fighter who just beats everybody, or is he, you know, getting the lower level competition, he's picking them apart, and then when he fought Douglas Lima, he got knocked out? Where do you stand on the argument with MVP? Is it more hype or reality with him?
You know what? I think I'd be stupid to say that he hasn't got the skills. He's obviously a very skilled fighter. He's got his kickboxing background. He's a multiple world champion in that. But I feel like I don't think he's fought someone quite as well-rounded as me, other than obviously Douglas Lima. Douglas Lima and the Paul Daly fight are the ones that stand out. And obviously the Lima fight went the way it went. Daly fight was quite close. And I just feel like I'm very well-rounded. And I just feel like, you know, he has got the skills, but I know I'm better. And Saturday night, I'm just going to use my full, well-rounded skill set as a mixed martial artist, a combat athlete, and as a fighter in particular to get the win.
And last one for me, you know, signing with Bellator, you could have fought a lot of people. As you mentioned, there's a pretty deep welterweight division in Bellator, but getting a guy like MVP who has so much hype and attention behind him, how big would a win here, you know, kind of set the stage? I mean, do you feel like a win here right away could put you in title contention?
I'll be asking for it either way once I beat him on Saturday. But here's the thing. I asked for MVP because obviously from the business side of things, I know the weight that's behind his name and what a win against him will do for my career. You know, I don't know the guy enough for personal. It's just strictly business. So obviously scalping MVP is going to put me right up there, and I'll be asking for the title shot.
Okay, we do have a lot of questions. So if we could limit to 1 or 2, we will go to Donna Corby.
Hey, Ross, how's it going? Were you expecting to be offered a fight as big as MVP right out of the gate with Bellator? I know that certain guys who have names behind them, like yourself, have been given, let's say, slightly easier fights than this out of the gate. Were you expecting to get such a big one?
You know what? I feel like I could have got easier fights and still got a payday, but that's not the kind of character I am. You know what I mean? So in terms of like, did I expect it to happen? Maybe not, because I felt like I wasn't really from MVP's, from Michael's point of view, I felt like maybe there wasn't a lot in it for him. You know what I mean? Kind of in terms of like, you know, he's obviously got a big name, and what does a win against me offer him? But then, you know what? I'm a world champion. I'm undefeated. So here's his chance to show that whether or not he can do it against someone who's legit. And, you know, he's going to fail at that test Saturday night. So, yeah, man, I'm looking forward to it. Here it is, you know what I mean? I didn't expect it to fully to be advantage of this opportunity.
What do you make of his style? He's the kind of guy who he showboats while he's fighting, he showboats after he's fighting. There was a whole discussion the last couple of weeks about similar stuff, you know, where Israel Adesanya didn't... He was pretty disrespectful after his fight. MVP is known to do similar stuff to that. What do you make of the whole MVP style in the cage?
You know, I don't really read into it too much. I feel like even though people say be yourself, obviously we've all got different characters in life in terms of like, you know, he's got, it's a business for me, it's a business for him. You know, he's got to sell tickets. So I don't really, I take nothing personally. It's in terms of his style, it is what it is. But here's the thing, I feel like I've got the strongest mind in MMA period in the whole entire planet. So none of his antics, whether it's before the fight or during the cage, are going to affect me. And I think his style, although it's obviously a high level style, it's nothing that solid fundamentals won't beat.
We'll go to Jay, followed by Darren.
Thanks very much. Just a couple of quick ones. Ross, first of all, I mean, you've obviously had some big fights before in Cage Warriors. The title comes to mind, but the first event in France, how does this stack up?
It's crazy. You know what? Here's the thing, because like the previous question, I asked for to fight Michael, and like I wasn't entirely confident that I'd get it. So that getting offered him in the first place was massive, and I didn't know anything about the French MMA history. So it was like when I was told that was crazy. You know what I mean? It's just so weird, because I started this thing almost like, you know, 10 years ago, just as a young lad trying to stay out of trouble, and it's like I never looked too far into the future, and it just like I'm sitting here. I woke up this morning, I'm a curtains closed. I woke up this morning, I like opened the curtains, and like they put me on the top floor in like some fancy hotel in Paris, and it's just looking over Paris, and I'm like, freaking hell, man. It's like, you know, just fighting is what I love to do, and fighting's got me to this position. It's just weird, to be honest. It's not really fully sunk in, but it's going to, obviously, once it's all said and done in many years to come, once I'm done fighting, it's just going to be a class, lifelong memory, and especially the whole like the BBC deal that's came out today. So it's like a hat trick. You know, we beat MVP on Saturday night. It's it's going to be my first win on Bellator. It's going to be the first ever major event in France, which I'm headlining. That's the first show on BBC. It's just class.
And this is my only other question. You know, we've been through the pandemic. A lot of fighters have gone through it. This is your first fight. I mean, what's training camp looked like for you with all the restrictions and everything?
Training camp's been fine, to be honest. Outside of the fighting, I've got my own martial arts MMA club as well. So obviously during the pandemic and the lockdown, gyms weren't allowed to be open. So if anything, it's just mean I've had like, even though I love my gym and my coaching and all that, it's just been one less responsibility. I've pretty much only had to focus on myself throughout pretty much this whole year. So it's gave me time to you know, concentrate on my conditioning with my coach Ian Finley, concentrate on my skill side of things a lot with Cam Cheng and Ross Circuit. Man, it's just you know, it's been I feel a bit in a really, really selfish way for my personal fighting career. It's been beneficial.
Darren?
Thank you very much for your time here, Ross. Looking forward to everything that's coming up for you. When you're having a big fight like the one that you have with Bellator coming up, how is your training regimen different than it is during, say, an off week or an off season?
Do you mean in terms of like this week in particular, or in general?
Yeah, in general, nutritionally and fitness speaking, how does it compare?
You know what? It's over the last. I've improved each fight in terms of not only like the level of opposition I'm fighting, but in terms of like the way I approach training. Like I mentioned earlier, I've been working with a conditioning coach, a new conditioning coach for the past 12 months after the Derby fight, Ian Finley. So I feel like you know, that's been a big change for the better, and like I've just taken things a lot more. Even though I've been taking things seriously, I'm training smarter rather than just training to, you know, run myself empty every day. I'm kind of training smarter, thinking about, all right, I've got to this level through some fights just because I know I'm a natural fighter. You know what I mean? That's either with you or it's not. And luckily, that's in my family's blood. But I feel like in terms of that and like the way me and my coaches have approached the training has changed a lot, to be honest. And it's just things for the better. I brought on a new nutritionist for the first time for this camp as well. I've never done that in Jacob Nutrition, and it's like I'm a very big welterweight, and you know, he's just going to make sure I go into the cage massive anyway. So he's gonna make a big difference with this fight.
Santiago?
Hi Ross, greetings from Amsterdam. 2 short questions for me. Are you happy that this fight is playing out at a catchweight?
Yeah, real happy. Here's the thing. Obviously we signed for 170, which I was happy about. And then he wanted 175 for whatever reason. And in my head, I'm like, all right, that suits me because I'm really big for the weight anyway. But obviously we didn't let him have it too easy. So I had to go a bit of back and forth between Bellator and him in terms of the deals. But here we are at 175. It suits me down to a T. And, you know, it just means like it's just going to make up for a better fight. It's going to show who's the better fighter on fight night because we've got that little bit less of a stress on our body making weight. And we're both going there comfortable, have a good fight, and may the best man win.
And then last thing for me, Bellator has some excellent Scottish fighters on the roster now. What would it mean to you if Bellator would put up an event in Scotland? And do you think this will be a huge success?
For sure, man. The Scottish MMA scene's on fire right now. You know, one of my good friends and training partners, Chris Duncan, got a big win in Milan. He's an absolute beast. So between him and the other Scottish MMA fighters and myself, you know, we do big things, man. We sell out that arena. I know Chris Bongard's got a big Celtic football team following, you know what I mean? So I don't say he'd probably drag a lot of numbers as well, man. So yeah, get it done, man. I'll beat MVP on Saturday night. We've got these wins, man. We've got a lot of hype. So who knows? Maybe Lima title shot in Glasgow in the future.
Okay, we'll take just a couple more. Lenny?
How's it going, Ross?
How you doing?
Can you hear me? Yep.
Yep, loud and clear.
All right, perfect. An MVP this weekend, and you know, we kind of mentioned earlier that MVP is a huge name. He's very unorthodox, but you know when Bellator rang you and they said it's going to be MVP action, how did you kind of feel about
that? Can you say that last bit one more time, please?
Okay, so when Bellator rang you, the opposition, that it will be MVP, how did you kind of react to Michael Venom Page being your opponent?
I was buzzing. Like I said earlier, I didn't expect to actually get offered it. So it was like a dream come true, to be honest. And it's just so big because it's just really motivating because I'm always looking to fight a better opponent on my last and just constantly climb up the ladder and get to the top. So an opponent like MVP and the stage that it's on is amazing in terms of like the motivation it's given me for training. I've never trained so hard and so well in my life, and it's just exciting. You know, we got 2 top British welterweights battling it out first time on BBC, man. So delighted. I'm delighted.
All right, 2 more. Ben?
Hi, Ross. Happy belated birthday for the other day.
Oh, thank you.
I've seen a lot of American fans online who may not be familiar with you and clearly don't watch European MMA, who have just sort of been dismissing your chances as just another can for MVP to crush. Have you seen any of that? And does that sort of galvanize you, sort of being underestimated by some people?
Yeah, I didn't pay too much attention to it. I've seen 1 or 2 comments. It's quite funny, to be honest, because I'm sitting there undefeated with a world title around my waist and I'm a can. So I don't know what it says for the other 99% of people fighters out there, but yeah, it is what it is, man. What you're going to do? It's kind of like, in a way, it's kind of like, you know what the saying goes, if you've got haters and you've got doubters, then you're doing something right. You know what I mean? It means once you got the attention and your name's on the platform, you must be doing something right. And yeah, I feel it on both sides, obviously, because every person MVP fights, he gets told he's fighting a can. But you know, I would hope that he knows that he's up against that on Saturday, or else it's going to be a really, really bad night for him.
And just one more from me. You posted a pic of you 5 years ago working on a building site in Paris before you turned over to MMA full-time. Do you have any advice to any young fighters who may be working a career alongside their MMA journey? I'll be contemplating as to whether or not to go full-time in the sport.
Here's the thing. It's like everyone's got to live and earn money. So I was in a position where before I quit my job on the oil and gas industry, I knew that I was able to open up an MMA club. So you've obviously got to have some kind of income and revenue coming in. But the way I looked at it is like I look at it in loads of terms of things, because some people are like, oh, this sport's bad for you in terms of like your health, and like there's nothing guaranteed in terms of like money and all that. But you only live once, you know, and you've only got a short period between, I don't know, like 18 to like 35, 36 now, where you can compete in this sport, you know what I mean? So and you only live once, man. It's a bit of a cliche, but you know, you give it a go, man. You know, if that's really what you want to do, then give it a go. But you got to be realistic with yourself. If you're kind of like, you've given up something, and you to chase that full time and give it your all, you know, don't just go half-assed with it. You got to give it your all. Kind of like you hear about a lot of people saying, blah blah blah, could have made it if it wasn't for this and that, like staying away from the distractions. But that's the hard bit. I think anyone can make it, but the hard bit is staying away from the distractions, you know, staying on the road, and that as long as you turn up, you're consistent, and you're training smart, man, you know, you can do it.
Cheers, Ross.
All right. Thank you very much, Ross. Appreciate it, and good luck.
Thank you.